Yo, what is good? How's everybody feeling? It's your boy. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? Michael Turner coming to you live. A little delayed on the release date because your boy's traveling again. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm not going to keep apologizing for it. For pursuing my dreams and passions and goals. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here in beautiful Austin, Texas, actually. Look at you. If you're watching on YouTube, I got the Hook'em Horns styrofoam fingers up right now. Shout out to the University of Texas. This one's brought to you by St. David's Healthcare. Fucking hook 'em. It's always an easy one. You just throw up the rock and roll sign, really. Down here in Austin, home of the Longhorns, state capital of the Republic of Texas. And yeah, it's going down. So I'm here for the week. I always try to pop down here and do some shows when I can. It's one of the best hubs of comedy in the world, quite frankly. You could argue it's the best because there's not a city out there that you can just literally New York City has some levels of it that you can get to where you can do what you can do here, but at a level where I'm at, I'm able to hit so many mics within a 5-minute walking distance of one another. And it's crazy. And they're all very solid shows, and people are at every one of them, and some of them are insanely good, some of the best shows you'll ever do. So I've only been here for about 3 nights, but I've also already experienced some pretty dope shit. So I'm here. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm here actually with the homie Deric Poston, one of the best comics doing it right now. He's a younger comic here in the Austin scene. Came up in San Diego, I believe, and then he was an LA guy. He's the homie. He opens up for Andrew Schultz. Have you ever seen Andrew Schultz live the last couple years? He's been one of his openers consistently. And him and his fiance, Sam Lopez, who is also a very funny comedian, had me crashing here. So I'm coming here from this spot, and I only say that because it's funny what they've done to the room. They knew I was. They know when they have guests, they're usually trying to fuck with them. They throw this on the wall, which is cool. The Texas Longhorn symbol, that's fine. Nobody's mad at that. But then they do other things too. Like I've got this right here, which is, I don't want to show you the breasts, but this is what they call a sex doll. It's in the corner. Show you a little lingerie. I don't think we're gonna get canceled for that one, as long as the fake nipples don't come out. But, yeah, just to get you an idea of what the head looks like. She's kind of cute. She's got a good mouth on her. It's one of those blow-up sex dolls. Super cute, super fun. And then, here, hold up, as I try to put the light back on here, that I just knocked out of the wall because of this blow-up sex doll that I'm trying to show you guys. But yeah, so they have that for your boy. So I'm not sleeping alone. That's pretty nice. And if I ever get kind of backed up in the huevos and just got to release that demon, it's nice to know I've got a friend that is willing and able. And from everything I've seen, consent is kind of assumed. So that's kind of nice. Haven't given her a name yet. Not sure she deserves one. So that's nice. So they have that, and then also they've got I don't know what this is, but I know that people are into it on the internet for sure. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, I'll kind of creep in here, but this is an animated Japanese, maybe. I don't want to assume which Asian culture is doing this. It feels Japanese. I don't know what that says about me. But I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but just from the image that you can see a little bit, it's just a adorable little teenage girl. Maybe let's give her 20 years old. They don't make them look very old in these. And she's got what is coming out of her mouth is a fully loaded condom, just overloading with cum. She's got her panties off, and her entire body is just dripping in somebody else's body fluid. So that's the front page. That's the cover of this novel. I wish I knew what these are called. I'm sure somebody listening to me knows. It is like a genre. It says Bichiku. I don't know if that's like the thing or whatever, but I was reading it And I was trying to see if there's any storyline attached to it. So the only page I can show you is the first page is a dude in an elevator, and he's just all sorts of boned up, ready to go. The second page is a Japanese boy that is at a party, and they're already showing you a very, very big-breasted Japanese girl that is ready to go. This is page 4 now. This chick is clearly into your boy. He's at a family function, and he's all sorts of boned up. Can't stop thinking about her. And I'm telling you, by the 6th page, she's ripped his dick out, and they're doing some stuff that, I don't think you're going to read about in the Bible. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know what God they believe in overseas, but it ain't mine. And I don't think you're making it through Catholic school. It is pretty crazy. But it's crazy. So I flipped through, as I've learned Japanese just to understand the context of what's going on in this. But no, like literally you can flip through. This is probably like, I don't know, at least 150, 200 pages. And I'm talking, once the 6th page comes out and his dick is out, that is all you're seeing. You're seeing breasts, very tastefully drawn vaginas, a lot of cum. Can't stress that enough. Animated cum. And the nice thing is, though, I think she's not the only one he gets with. He looks like he goes on a nice little tear. I don't know if he's the main character here. There's like 2 or 3 pages of color. That's fun. I just don't know who's buying this and who's J-O-ing to it. Probably the same people that are buying a blow-up plastic doll. But what a genre. And so thanks to Deric and Sam for just making me feel at home. These are things that I think that they knew that I would want in a place that I'm staying for multiple days, and just kind of feeling like that. They've got a sign here that says, "Bless this kitchen." I can confirm I'm not staying in a kitchen. But these are all things that are kind of whatever, right? The other thing they have that is the female women's basketball team, Texas Longhorn, photo and full schedule for the 21-22 season. I think that's nice. That's just good information. But the thing that really takes the cake, and I'm not even going to give it the justice of showing you what's going on, but I'll explain what's going on the wall here. They've got a blow-up sex doll. They've got some anime porn. They've got the women's basketball team. No disrespect to women's basketball. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm not a big backdoor cutter. You know what I mean? Harvard offense, Princeton offense, whatever they call it, wasn't really ever my thing. I'm a zone D guy, man-on-man stuff. But the kicker of all of this, seemed like a very personal attack. But Sam has she's got a connection to a football team in the National Football League that is not very friendly with my football team, the Cincinnati Bengals. And on the wall is a flag that says "The Flock" and "Football," and it is a Baltimore Ravens flag. And it is something that I am having to deal with throughout the week here. And it's something that, I'm not proud to say it's got my blood boiling, because I should be able to be. I'm 36. Spun around this sun plenty of times. And for it to make me as angry as it has is, I don't know what that says about me. But also, we're coming off a pretty scrappy year. The Bengals and the Ravens, they do not like each other at all. I fucking hate the Ravens. What I will say, until like recently as a Bengals fan, I haven't I always said that I hated the Ravens, but if I wasn't a fan of the Bengals and I had no skin in if I didn't care about the AFC North, I would say that I would like the Ravens more than any other team. I like the way they play ball and all that shit. But the last couple years, now it's like personal. Because I've always hated the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Browns, they're just shit. And, obviously I hate them, but I'm really ranking levels of hate here. But you could argue my hate for Baltimore right now is as boiled up as it's ever been. And so for that flag to be here, it's been bothersome. But whenever I get super worked up, I've got a blow up sex doll here, and I've got some anime porn to just calm my soul. So appreciate the hospitality, Deric and Sam. And if you guys are on social media and looking for a good laugh, follow them and tell them fuck the Ravens from me to them. You know what I mean? But yeah, Southern hospitality. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. But yeah, I'm all Austin all week here. I got in on Tuesday, and one of the cool things that happened this week was I had thrown out a DM about 3-4 months ago. Somebody that I really loved and respected followed me on Instagram, and I hit them up, and I was like, dude, you do a podcast? I'm a big fan. Would love to jump on. I'll be in Austin, blah, blah, blah. And they said yes. And they got me on. So this week I got to record with Danny Brown. If you're not familiar with Danny Brown, he is one of the doper individuals. It's funny because he's definitely a rapper, but he's also like just a great entertainer. He's somebody that I've really always enjoyed since I've discovered him. I came across him like 12 years ago now. He was a rapper from Detroit, and now he's kind of a personality. He's also still very much a rapper. He just released an album with JPEG Mafia. He is one of one. He is not a rapper that you will listen to and be like, oh, he reminds me of blah, blah, blah. No. And you'll never hear another person that you'll say, oh, he reminds me of Danny Brown. He's one of one. He's dope as fuck. He's very eccentric, and it was really cool. That was one of those things, as you know, if you've been listening to me, if you know me at all personally, I'm a fucking huge music fan, huge hip-hop fan specifically. And beyond all that, if you want to continue like to go dive deep into the niche of hip-hop, I am a huge Detroit hip-hop fan. And so that was really cool to do that. Going into that podcast, jumping on there, I was literally like in my head, like, I want to tell him I love him, blah, 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 and all this shit. And then you get on the podcast and you realize he doesn't want to hear any of that. We're just talking shit. We're just saying he's a funny dude. He's got an entertaining podcast. It was super cool to jump on. He gets a lot of comedians on there too, so that was cool. But he's a wild boy. He's just being himself. And so I remember walking into it, I was like, man, I'm going to tell him this, and this. And then you get in the moment. You're like, just let him lead the way. Do your thing. Make the jokes when you make the jokes. So I don't know when that'll come out. But we recorded it this week. It was super cool. It's dope to meet people that you respect on that level. And he was super cool dude. So shout out to Danny Brown for doing that. And then I'm sure when it's coming out over the next few weeks, I'll be dropping that. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be fun. And yeah, I mean, Austin's a huge hub for not only comedians, but also for a lot of podcasts too. Danny is on the YMH studio podcast. I don't know how you'd call it, but it's Tom Segura and Christina P's company, and they have a whole production team now, and they produce a lot of different podcasts. So Danny Brown is somebody that's under that umbrella. I know my buddy Brian Simpson has a podcast here. I know Deric and Asan have done a podcast in the past called Spoil the Beans. So a lot of different cool podcasts in the city too. It's just dope. It's dope being able to pop in and see so many cool things. So, but yeah, the Detroit hip hop shit was dope. It is cool to like, and also if you don't know Danny Brown, check him out. Check out the album XXX. It's a good intro point, but also because I would say check out his newest album. JPEG Mafia and him put out an album called "Scared the Hose." But I mean, if you've got a female in the car, the album is definitely not lying. It is aggressive, but it's dope. He's always done shit outside of the box. He's almost been somebody that's like more in hip hop as like a punk rock type dude, if that makes sense. Like a punk rock energy more so to hip hop, but still it's very much hip hop. And yeah, I'm obsessed with Detroit hip hop anyway. I remember, he hit me at a perfect time. I was like 25, 26. I graduated college a few years earlier, and you're kind of just still drinking with the homies. You're still partying and shit like that. And I might have been a little younger because it was 2010, so I had just graduated probably, and I was obsessed with Royce the 5'9", is one of my favorite rappers of all time, and he had started messing with this dude named Black Milk, was a producer that was coming up in the Detroit scene, and so then I would always do connective tissue with new discoveries. A lot of times I would see somebody collaborated with somebody I like. If that person likes them enough, then maybe I should check them out and stuff like that. So then I discovered Black Milk. Black Milk is one of my favorite producers, honestly, of all time. I just always loved him. He's definitely in my top 10 producers of all time. But you'll see as we continue this podcast that my top 10, my top 5 is actually made up of about 13 people. But it fluctuates. I'm sure a lot of you guys do that too. I'm pretty bad at it, saying that things are my favorite things. But you know what? I love a lot of shit. But Black Milk was somebody that I discovered at that point, and he also is dropping a new album this month too that I'm super excited about. I think it's coming out this week, so check that out. And Black Milk then produced an album with this dude, Danny Brown, and it was called Black and Brown. And it was dope as hell, and it was super cool. I never heard this dude. It was fucking crazy, and I discovered that. And then within the next year, Danny Brown released a solo album called XXX, which is a project I revisit a lot. It's reckless as fuck. It's brilliant ignorance, I call it. He's got a 4-minute song just about eating pussy, and it is elevated art. It is high art. I'll tell you that right now. It's good stuff. So good shit. All his early shit was really dope to me when I was in that age range. It was perfect for me. And he's been an artist. He's been one of those artists that I would say is like somebody that I used to put people on, and I'm never ashamed that I put anybody onto him because he continued to be dope his whole career, and he's continuing to do dope shit. So that's been good. And then he's also somebody I would call a litmus test artist. I would call Danny Brown a litmus test artist. I don't know if you have these artists in your life, but somebody that if you're meeting somebody for the first time and you're talking to them about music specifically in this situation, but it could be really anything. It could be movies, could definitely be other shit like TV shows and stuff like that. But a litmus test artist in this situation would be somebody that you are talking to somebody and they say that they like this person, and then I know that I now like that person way more because I'm like, oh, I fuck with you. If you like this artist, we're going to have a lot more in common than just this. So Danny Brown is definitely somebody like that. Little Brother, the group Little Brother is somebody that like that a lot. MF Doom is a good example of that. I always say somebody that thinks that Ghostface is the best member of Wu-Tang. If that's who somebody thinks, I usually am like, we're going to have a good conversation. I fuck with you on a lot of different shit. And Danny Brown is a great example of that type of artist. He's very like, if you found him and you fuck with him, that means, in my opinion, that you got a dope perspective on shit. So, fucking appreciate Danny Brown doing that, having me on there, and the whole team over there. And yeah, that'll drop soonish, hopefully. So that'll be cool. But that was the first day in town. Landed, boom, went right there. Came through to Deric, saw my sex doll for the week, and yeah. So it's been fun though. It's been cool. The Austin is dope. If you haven't been here, they have had. You know what's funny is I actually have never been here before the popularity of Austin over the last 2.5 years. So my perspective on Austin, first of all, growing up, you know what's crazy is I started this by telling you there's a Hook 'em Horns thing, Texas Longhorns. Dude, my first starter jacket was a Longhorns jacket. So I actually grew up, I was a fucking, Texas Longhorns were probably my first team that I was like a huge fan of, other than obviously, so like growing up in Cincinnati, I was a Cincinnati Bearcats fan, Reds, you know, Bengals, but like, dude, the Bengals were tough, right? The Bengals were, you're always a fan of the Bengals, but like, you know, every year you're like 2-14. What is this? Like 3-13. Like you are optimistic about their chances of doing shit, but like, you know, I'm sitting here rooting for Kijana Carter to change the whole franchise. I'm 7 years old. The fuck is this? So, super like passionate Bengals fan, but you could only be so passionate back then. And then on the other side of that, of Cincinnati, the Bearcats football team wasn't shit. And I wasn't one of those dudes I wasn't a kid that ever adopted Ohio State. Being in Ohio, a lot of people do that. A lot of people don't, though, in Cincinnati. It's like it's probably like 50-50. There's a good amount of people that are Buckeyes fans, but like, I don't know. I just never fucked with the Buckeyes. I actually always like rooted against them. I don't know why. I liked Michigan's helmets way more. Ohio State fans are some of the most annoying people in the world, and I was always a Bearcats fan. And so the Bearcats football team didn't have much. So in my grandfather lived in Dallas. We went down to Texas a lot. Not a lot, but like a good amount of times. And I don't know why, but I fell in love with Texas and the Longhorns, specifically the football team. And it was like, mid 90s. And I remember the quarterback was like James Brown. It wasn't like they were like great. But then within like a year or so, then all of a sudden they got this running back named Ricky Williams. He's fucking running over everybody. He's setting records. And like I had already gotten the Longhorns jacket. Also, that shit was clean. It was a clean jacket. It was, starter jackets back then. Shit was nice. So that was, and then also like whatever starter jacket you had, if you weren't like already a fan of that team, you kind of had to double down, especially one like that. That's burnt orange. Your boy was chilling in some burnt orange shit. And then I just was a huge fan of Texas. So, it's cool being here, but that was my only like connection with Austin. I never came down here to visit. I should have. That would have been a cool thing to do growing up if my parents loved me more. You know what I mean? If they would have set more love aside for me and more financial freedom aside for me to travel down here. No, I'm kidding. They loved me enough. But also like one of my happiest memories ever growing up, because none of my fucking teams are good. Bengals, Reds, Bearcats. You kidding me? I've been since 1986. The Reds won in 1990. I was 4 years old. I don't remember that shit. The Bengals won the Super Bowl when I was 3. These aren't things that I really remember. The Bearcats were in the Final Four when I was 6. Other than that, they were it was fucking horrible. It was miserable. Most of the 90s were fucking miserable as a Cincinnati sports fan. And then one of the happiest moments of my life. Like, up until, I've had happier moments since, but like, dude, when Vince Young beat USC in the national championship game in 2005, one of the greatest football games ever played, that was like one of the happiest I've ever been. I can say that at that moment, I remember being like, this is crazy. This is what happiness feels like. So thank you, Texas Longhorns in Austin, Texas, for doing that for me. For a young Cincinnati kid just coming up, fucking broken home, not a lot of financial freedom and abilities. I needed that. So, shout out to Vince Young. It's a fucking legendary team. And one of the greatest college football quarterbacks of all time. Right there. One of the greatest college football players of all time. Point blank period. Go check out what he did in his last 2 years. Both back-to-back Rose Bowls, once against Michigan, once against USC. USC, one of the greatest football teams ever assembled. That's not even like an argument. It's like they're in the top, 5. That USC team with Reggie Bush and Lando White. You fucking kidding me? Matt Leinart. So, yeah, that was dope. Going off on a rant there. But that's my only familiarity with Austin, really. So I had never been there, or here, I should say, and I have always kind of had an affinity for it. And then now it's like a comedy hub. And so it's kind of turned into this thing where it's like, it's nuts for comedy. Like, you could argue it's as good as anywhere. It's definitely better than LA and the accessibility to do stand-up. Like, in LA, sometimes you can only do, like, if you have 2 shows in LA in a night, that's a great night, because LA is so spread out that you got to, like, the commute to anywhere is 15, 20 minutes. Here, like, you can walk out of the door of a comedy club and walk in the door of another comedy club that has a fucking great show also going on in a 5-minute increment. And you're not getting in a fucking Uber, you're not getting in a car, you're not getting on even a fucking bird scooter. You're walking to these motherfuckers. Now, it's 103 degrees, and it's humid as fuck. And when you get to your destination, you're dripping. You're sweating. You know what I mean? But you're there. It's humid as fuck. But it's a cool-ass city. I've never experienced it until the last couple of years. I went here last year for a week. Crashed with Deric again. Got to do some dope-ass shows and really, really, like, kind of started feeling, you get a little bit more acclimated in the city. You get to know it. I've enjoyed my time here always. I like drinking, as you guys know. It's a good drinking town. It is a good comedy town, which is always great, but then also above that, it's like a good entertainment town. It's good, like, music. It's good people for the most part, too. I mean, it's Texas. You're going to get your gun-wielding people that are, opinionated about their whiskey and their IPAs and shit like that. But, they're good people, too. I like them. I like hanging with. I came up in Arizona. I assume everybody's got a fucking 6-shooter on their hip. You know what I mean? The first show I did was funny, though. Is, Brian Simpson does a show every Tuesday at the Comedy Mothership that is called Bottom of the Barrel, and it's a show that everybody in the audience writes topics and shit like that, and then they put them in this barrel, and then you just pick it out, and then you kind of create comedy from that, right? And super dope concept. A lot of people kind of do something similar to that, but it's a fun one. It's really kind of an improvised comedy show. But I was picking through it, and literally, like, all my topics were just conspiracy theory shit. One of them just said the Vietnam loss. I'm like, what's going on? You good, Austin? You guys still worried about us losing in a war in the mid to late 60s? What the fuck's going on? A lot of things about RFK Jr. and shit like that. So, big conspiracy theory town. I don't think that's even because you're in a college town. I think it's probably because everybody moved here because of Joe Rogan. They watch the Joe Rogan podcast, and they believe everything they've ever heard on that podcast to be true. And I'm not saying I don't believe a lot of it. I'm a big conspiracy guy. But sometimes it feels like a town where there's some guys in the audience that were like, they're really consumed with what's going on with John F. Kennedy's head. You know what I mean? And hey, I've been to Daily Plaza plenty of times. I've got some questions, but I'm able to function a little bit better. I'm not consuming my life. You know what I mean? So that's always fun to see. But that show was super fun. And I got to be on stage at the Comedy Mothership. That's the other thing that's going on in Austin is if you're a comedy fan at all, even like surface level, you've probably heard that Joe Rogan moved to Austin, Texas. And in that time, he has opened a comedy club. It is called the Comedy Mothership, and it is, as far as comedy clubs go, pretty fucking phenomenal. They did a really good job. A lot of the people that came over, our staff from the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, I wouldn't say mimicked everything from it, but there's definitely some things that you can see that they. You take that, which is a smart thing to do anywhere. You just take things that have worked really well at other clubs, and you just duplicate them and maybe enhance upon them, and that's what they've done. And it's really fucking dope. There's 2 rooms called Fat Boy and Little Man, I think, or Fat Man and Little Boy. They're named after the nuclear bombs that we dropped on Japan, which I don't know what that says. Obviously, you guys know I'm a anime lover, and so no hate here. Also, if we didn't nuke them, is art like that being made in that country? I don't know. So you're welcome. Is that the right? I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. But shout out to Oppenheimer. I'll tell you that right now. But that is the names of the 2 rooms. So I was in the smaller of the 2. I've done a couple of shows there. They were fucking phenomenal. Every show I've seen has been packed. This week, Fahim Anwar is headlining in the big room, so that's been cool to see. Easily one of the most prolific joke writers going right now. If you don't know who Fahim Anwar is, he's fucking phenomenal. Look him up. Great comedian. So that's been cool to see. It's dope to see, like, my homies that I know from L.A. too. Like, a lot of these people that I knew in L.A. have moved here, and they've kind of gone all in here and relocated to a market that, wasn't anything when this all happened like 3 years ago, and they've created this shit. Like, obviously, a lot of people are like, well, it's all because of Joe Rogan, but, like, people follow, and it's up to those people to continue to be great at comedy and work hard and shit like that, and people like Deric and Hassan and Sam and, like, but Brian Simpson, like, these people are fucking phenomenal comedians, and they've been able to maximize the stage time that they get here. So it's been dope to see that. I will say it's funny that a lot of people moved from LA to Austin because they wanted to escape a lot of things in LA, like homelessness. What are we talking about? If you haven't been to Austin, just know that I don't know if there's a town in America that has more of a homeless problem than this place. This is crazy here. It's in LA, and I'm coming from LA. This shit is fucking nuts here. It's different level shit, dude. It's some fucking 28 days later shit. Also, there's a fucking serial killer running around that's killing homeless people too. And, The Wire is probably my favorite show of all time. That's literally the plot of season 5. So I'm wondering where McNulty's at. You know what I mean? Where the boy at, String? So yeah, somebody the Rainy Street killer or something like that. They've already got a name. Also, dude, that's really dope that there's a serial killer still. I know that sucks that, a bunch of people are dying, but like pretty neat. Pretty neat stuff that somebody is killing on a serial basis. So that's pretty fun. Hopefully they'll inspire David Fincher to bring back Mindhunter, because that shouldn't have fucking been canceled. You know what I'm saying? So keep on doing what you're doing, as long as you don't kill me or any close friends. It's pretty neat. I think this country needs that. So as long as you're renting or own property, I think you're safe too, which is pretty good. So, and also, they always kill the most vulnerable. If it ain't the homeless, it's the prostitutes. This guy, he's by the book, and he's done his research. So let's see how long this goes. But shout out to Austin for bringing serial killers back and live comedy and keeping it live. It's cool. They have the club itself has 2 big rooms, but then also there's a dope little side room afterwards that you can go get some drinks at. It's a bar that is open to the public for most of the day, and then at the end of the night it kind of shuts down. And it's just kind of it's the homies, which is really dope. So last night I was able to I was bouncing around town, and a comic that I met this week was like, "Yo, we're going back over to the mothership." I was like, "All right, I'll pull up." Luckily, I know enough people over there where I can get in. It's kind of you do have to know the secret handshake, so to speak. That was dope. So I got back in there and got back in just in time where everybody around me is like, "Oh shit, let's go to the main room." And Fat Man, and it is or Fat Boy. I think it's Fat Boy and Little Man, right? Little Boy would be a weird room name. And fat Man and Little Boy doesn't sound right. So it's Fat Boy and Little Man. Yeah. Because you can't yeah, I hope it is. Because I'll be damned if there's somebody out there saying, "What did you do last night?" "I performed in Little Boy." It's got to be Little Man. Because, Fat Boy then is the main room. Little Boy. I did 20 minutes in Little Boy last night, and I killed. What is it? Did you just admit to a crime? So I came in Fat Boy and it was already occupied. I came in Little Boy. I shouldn't say these things on the internet. I'm sorry. So Fat Boy, all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, he's going up on Fat Boy." And it was fucking Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle was popping in Austin. I guess he's doing a weekend. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's doing a big show here, like at a theater arena or something. And so he pops on at the end of the Fahim Anwar show, the headlining show that he did, and he literally just tells the audience, he says, "Hey, if you want, come back in 5 minutes and I'm going to do a spot." And obviously, everybody left and everybody came right back. It was dope as hell. It was like midnight on a fucking, what night was it, Thursday? On a weekday night, and fucking everybody comes back in. He pops on stage, he's talking shit, does some funny stuff, brings Mo Amer out also, who's a funny dude, and it was really cool. It's just a fucking experience. That's the thing that, like, things like that don't happen all the time. They happen. The cool thing is, like, I wasn't probably as overwhelmed with it as some of those younger comics there that were like fucking blown away. I'm fortunate enough to have been in LA. I've seen him do pop in things like that at the Comedy Store and stuff like that. Not too long ago, he was at the OR, talking shit through the window. Actually, I think he was talking shit to me on the patio, because I have an Asian girlfriend. I think he was hitting on her. He's got a hankering for Asians too. Figure that one out. Fucking Little Man and Fat Boy. You know what I mean? R.I.P. Nagasaki. But what I'm saying is, it was dope. It was just a random fucking Thursday night. I was going to call it a night. Honestly, at 10 o'clock, I was looking around. I was like, dude, I might just go watch fucking Mission Impossible again. Call it a night. I was looking at theaters, about to buy a ticket to go fucking watch this movie. Luckily, I didn't do that. My boy Tristan Bowling, shout out Tristan, very good comic from Phoenix. He now lives in New York. He was in town. I was like, dude, I'll go say what up to the boy. I call him Baby Boy. That's his nickname. And I go link up with him. All of a sudden, then I'm going back to the mothership. All of a sudden, I'm looking at Dave Chappelle. Took 30 minutes. It is it's one of those. It's cool too. And also, I don't try to be too jaded too. Like when I'm saying like, I've seen it before. you do have to step back though and be like, damn, that's fucking Dave Chappelle. You could argue hands down. If you told me that you think he's the greatest comedian of all time, I don't think you're wrong. I'm not going to argue against that, right? So getting to see shit like that is really dope. And I think this is the beginning of that type of shit in Austin. This comedy mothership is going to obviously bring a lot of names because of Rogan and his connections. But it's also just a great city for, for what we're doing. And there's no other real big attractions other than the Texas Longhorns, right? And you only got one competition in town. Like, comedians are it. So my brother was telling me that he heard Andrew Schultz was mentioning that comedians in Austin are like the pro athletes, right? And it was last night. He had told me that like 2 days ago or something. I was talking to him on the phone, and it all clicked for me last night. I was like, damn, that is true. Because, like, yeah, that's the draw. It is the thing. Like, I heard somebody say that they had seen this dude that was in town visiting from Europe. He'd seen him at 3 different shows, and he talked to him at one of them, and he traveled all the way over here from Europe just to come to Austin just to experience live comedy. And that's really dope. That's what we want as comedians. We want people as excited as possible for what we do and this fucking crazy grind that we're on. And so it's a really cool market to have. It's cool to fucking have a city that is just so focused on live comedy right now. And I hope it continues. I hope it continues for a long, long time. It doesn't seem like it's going to go away. And the coolest thing with the comedy club, the mothership opening up, is I see that it has impacted like there's 4 or 5 comedy clubs down on what's called 6th Street. And in this pocket of 6th Street, there's all these comedy clubs. And I go to the other ones, and I remember the last time I came here, they were more packed. There was more people in each of these shows. But that's just the adjustment. I think right now the mothership is like the thing, and mothership will probably always be the thing. That'll be the main draw. You'll be able to see the biggest names there and shit like that. But, like, there's only so much room, only so much stage time. Like, the comedians here locally will get better. The scene will continue to get better. And people will realize that all of these clubs, all of these different shows are going to have, maybe not the same level of talent, but this, or of fame, I should say, the same level of fame, but they're probably going to have the same level of talent. There's fucking murderers. People don't know who I am on a grand scale. People don't know on a large scale who Michael Turner is. I'll tell you right now, I fucking murdered on the stage the other night. That doesn't mean that I'm not more famous than these people, but I'm just as funny as these motherfuckers, and there's a lot of me's out there, right? So it's really cool to be able to have that for comedy fans coming here and being able to see just people shining on the way up, shining and grinding. That's the new. We're gonna rename the podcast, Shining and Grinding. So yeah, that was cool. And then in the meantime, I did also mention in there, if you caught this, that I was going to go see Mission Impossible again. Yeah, your boy checked it already. I actually checked it like before it officially dropped. It's the most excited I've been for a fucking movie in a long time. I fucking love these movies. Mission Impossible Fallout, to me, is, like I've said, is one of the greatest action movies of all time. It is my favorite Mission Impossible movie. And it is it's a franchise that just like feels like it continues to get better. And so Mission Impossible, technically 7, is they don't call them that anymore though. This is called Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Let's fucking go. You kidding me, dude? I don't even know what Dead Reckoning means. What is I reckon you're dead? I'm reckoning that you're dead? What is reckon? I actually don't know what reckon means now that I think about it. I reckon that you're going to tell me. I know that's something in the South. Somebody said, I reckon you're going to make right by this. But why would that be dead? I dead reckon that you would do something? I'm not sure on the definition of reckon. So, that's leaves a lot up for interpretation in it on itself. And then part 1, you're like, dude, I'm not even getting the whole story here. I reckon I'm going to come back to see the second one. That's what I reckon. Deadly enough. I'm dead serious about that reckoning. So the part 1 came out, and I think it was released on Wednesday, the 12th. But on the 10th, I was in LA, and I was actually, it's funny, I was going to go to midday. Me and my girl were out and we had the day to ourselves before I traveled to Austin. We wanted to spend the day together. And it was midday, and I was like, oh, well, let's go see if there's like a movie at that old movie theater at the Beverly Cinema and see if there's something midday that we can watch, because they do a 2 p.m. movie. And so I looked it up, and fucking Minority Report's playing. Tommy C. TC. Steven Spielberg. Classic film. I was like, let's go watch this. She'd never seen it because she's 27 and she doesn't know anything about good movies. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about this. And so we're going to go. So I was like, all right, let's pull up. It's probably sold out, but like we can go do the thing that we did last time, which is like you go there like 45 minutes before, you can get a ticket, walk in, all that shit. They have like excess tickets available. We pull up and I look at the thing again on the screen, and I refresh it, and it's another movie. And I realized that I was looking at Minority Report was 3 days earlier, and it fucked up. The website hadn't refreshed yet, so I'm a fucking idiot. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what the fuck? Now I'm in movie mode. Now I'm in let's go see a movie mode, which once you're trying to see a movie, you kind of want to see a movie. So now I'm like, all right, let's see what the fuck else is out there. We love seeing movies. Let's see what else has been released. And I look at this fucking Fandango. Tell me why every theater got Mission Impossible playing at 7 o'clock. So all across L.A., 2 days before the movie actually came out, they released it at 7 p.m. at as many theaters as they could. And I'm looking through, and everything is fucking sold out, except for one theater had just like released a new one, downtown LA in 4DX. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but I Googled it, and it just means it's the biggest fucking screen you can think of, and I'm like, let's go. We get dead center for Dead Reckoning, 2 seats, 7 p.m., and made a fucking night out of it. And it was dope because it started at 7 p.m. I don't know why, but because it was like a special premiere, not one fucking preview. You kidding me? Just fucking let's go. All of a sudden, I'm in fucking Mission Impossible mode. Like, I actually was ready for previews. Emotionally, I wasn't ready to dive in to the character of Ethan Hunt just that quickly. So, it was phenomenal. It was great, if you're wondering on a review. If you haven't seen this movie yet, what the fuck are you doing? The nice thing is, if you're listening and you're like, I've never watched a Mission Impossible movie, you don't have to watch all of them to understand what's going on. It's very like, there's no connection that actually matters but if you have seen all of them, it's way better. I will say that, but it's still insanely good if you haven't seen any of them. It's very point blank. There's a dude named Tom Cruise that's going to fucking save the world within a 2.5 hour window. You know what I'm saying? That's all you need to know. He's got some homies. One of them's a nerdy white dude. One of them's a very large black man that I don't think can stand anymore. He's sitting in every scene. He's not moving at all. Every scene is just zoomed in on his face. He's got a different hat for every occasion. And he also is the voice of Arby's. And somehow he's also one of the smartest like computer hackers in the world. Are you kidding me? All I could think of when Ving Rhames was telling me that he's one of the best computer hackers in the world was how meaty is this dude's fingers. These are got to be the meatiest fingers in the world. You tell me he's on a fucking laptop, dude? And you're also like on some secret spy shit. I know that laptop's got to be small. One of them little joints that are like the mini boys. Dude, this guy's got fingers like fucking bratwursts. You kidding me? There's just no way. That's the most unbelievable thing in Mission Impossible is not actually Tom Cruise jumping off cliffs, jumping onto moving trains, fucking holding on to airplanes, holding his breath for 6 minutes underwater. No, it's the fact that you're telling me Ving Rhames' fingers can type that quickly and efficiently in order to hack the mainframe of the CIA. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And you guys know that. So if you can get past that, the Ving Rhames chunky fingers, the meaty boys, we have the meats is literally the slogan of Arby's. We have the meats is literally his fingers communicating for themselves because they're so big that they actually have a mind of their own and they have mouths and lungs. These fingers are full grown men. And you're telling me they're just fucking clicking away, just hacking away, dude? Get real. But if you can get past that, which is just tough to believe, then you're gonna watch a fantastic film. The bad dude is the dude from season 1 of Ozark. or season 2. Remember that dude, the Mexican cartel guy? He's great in it. He gets blasted in Ozark. No, I don't know if that. Hope that doesn't spoil anything, but he doesn't make it till season 5. I'll tell you that right now, or however many seasons they had. And that was one of the shockers. I think that was that the end of season 1? But the guy, the real bad dude from Ozark, I think it was the season 1 bad dude. He's in it as the bad dude. He's solid. There's like a fucking AI thing in there that's great. They bring back, if you remember Mission Impossible 1, the dude Kittredge that told him all the shit. He's back. Let's fucking go. You kidding me, dude? Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, obviously Ving Rhames. There's a new bitch that's like, obviously Tom Cruise every 2-3 films just switches up a new bitch that he's going to fall in love with. He's going to bang. He's going to save their life a couple times. They're probably going to die eventually. And I'm with it. It's all formulaic, dude. Just give me the shit, dude. There's a fucking car chase in Rome. There's a fucking crazy airport scene. They throw some horses in there at one point early. And so the craziest thing is the advertising for this film has actually been really like centered around this stunt where he motorcycles and ramps off of a cliff and then like free base jumps or whatever. Like, you know, when they it's not like you're jumping out of a plane with a parachute. You're just jumping off a cliff with a parachute, whatever that is. And it's insane. The stunt is insane. It's on YouTube. It's like 15 minutes. You can watch the whole thing happen. He runs it like twice, and then they get down there, and he's like, let's do it one more time. And I would have ran through a wall the first time I saw that. I was like, let's fucking go. But that is the biggest stunt of the movie based on the marketing, right? Well, I'm here to tell you, and this doesn't spoil anything, that stunt is probably like the 7th coolest thing that happens in this fucking movie. I fucking loved it. I would still put Fallout above it. But it's probably 2. It might be 3, depending on... Sometimes I go back to watch Mission Impossible 1, and I'm like, this is great. And it is great. And it's just a really good film, but it's like so different than the rest of them because Brian De Palma did it, and it's just like a good, solid film. But, yeah, it's in the... let's put it in the top 3. How about that? I would, but I'm probably saying it's 2, actually. I think it was just as good as like Fallout, but like, also I can't wait to fucking see it again. I would have seen it last night. I'll tell you right now. Last night, if there was an IMAX available in Austin within like 3 miles of me, because there was one, but it was like 6 miles away, and I was like, I'm not going there. If there was an IMAX available last night, I would have seen that and not seen Dave Chappelle. And you know what? You could argue I'd have made the right decision. Okay? TC. I fucking love you, dude. Can't wait for part 2. I reckon I'm gonna see it. That's what I'm here to say. But yeah, so that's been my my week so far. I love that I'm here in Austin. I love that I'm getting to do comedy here in America. I know I was talking about that last week with the July 4th thing. This is what I'm talking about. This is the type of place I'm talking about when I talk about how LA and New York aren't America. This is fucking America. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I also was thinking about it more after that conversation. What I also am saying is like, I'm not saying, what I'm saying is LA and New York aren't American cities. They're like even bigger. They're like global cities too. They're not even like what the issues that LA and like New York and you could argue even like San Francisco deal with. They're like global issues. They're like world cities. Like if they've outgrown America. They don't deal with the issues of 85-90% of Americans aren't dealing with issues that are happening in these cities. And also the issues that they think are important. That's why they're so distant to issues that are actually important to Americans, is they're not in touch with it. They've outgrown it. They're now on these worldly shits. So it's nice being here in Austin. My jokes hit differently in the best ways. It always reminds me that I am talking from where I'm from. At the end of the day, I'm just a dude from Cincinnati, Ohio. I came up in Arizona, and obviously I'm in LA, but like LA's perspective on shit doesn't define me, and it's tough doing the style of comedy I do in LA. Sometimes can be a challenge, and some people try to change their approach towards it to kind of make it easier for people in those cities to laugh at them. I never do that. I never want to do that. It isn't fun to me. It isn't funny to me. And it's nice to come to Austin, do my shit, and fucking understand that it's hitting with these people. And so I appreciate that. So it's been good. But now we're as we're winding down, I posted, get you guys some questions, some concerns, some topics and shit like that. So I will dive into some of them. The first one is, how do you tell someone they gave you herpes without getting more herpes back? That is tough. What? How do you tell somebody they gave you herpes without getting more herpes back? I think once you get the herpes, I don't think it's a quantity thing at that point. I think you're done, big dog. That's a binary thing. You know what I mean? That's either 0 or 1 on that one. That's a Y or an N. And how do you tell them that? I think that's definitely not a text situation. I would argue it's tough to be face to face. Maybe a FaceTime thing. Phone call feels right. So good luck with that. There's some medication out there can help you with that one. So when are you fucking coming to Utah, dude? No plans. I don't know if I got a draw in Utah. There's one person, Kev Pot 29. Appreciate you, big dog. I don't know if I have a draw in Utah. I will go to Utah though. Don't fucking threaten me with a good time. When the Jazz play the Suns, I'll pull up. But no, I don't have any. I do not have any plans right now to go to Utah. I will say that. But you guys also supported Karl Malone for a lot of years, and he banged and impregnated a teenager. So maybe I should never come there. Funniest or weirdest thing that's ever happened whilst banging. Funniest or weirdest thing. I would say it was not funny. It was a little weird. I remember one of the first times I ever hooked up with a chick was back in high school because I was getting laid in high school. You know what I mean? Your boy was putting it down as a teenager. And she was a teenager too. And it was good, consensual. And then both underage, which makes it cool. And it means it's weird that you guys are thinking about teenagers fucking right now. Fucking creep. But either way, banging as a teenager in my mother's apartment. And it was late at night and sneaking around, obviously. And my mom definitely opened the door and saw this girl and me. I remember hearing her, and so I actually, we got up, and but then you're just sitting in the bed. I'm naked. She's naked. My mom's not a complete moron. She's not a moron at all. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have phrased that as that at all. My mother's a very intelligent woman. She knew what the fuck was going on. Her son's in there putting it down for the city. You know what I mean? But, yeah, she walked in, and it did a quick sit-up, cover my dick. That would have been horrible. You don't want your mother seeing your teenage dick rock hard. And but the worst thing, the weirdest situation that was created from that was my mom was cool, too. She wasn't like, "What'd you get the fuck out of here?" She wasn't like, she was a pretty... By that point, I was the last one. I was the third of the children. I was the youngest of the children. She had been so weathered through my sister and my brother that by the time I got to being like a senior, she was done. She was exhausted. She was spent. She was, fucking... I'm trying to think of a good comp, but it was like, Gary Payton on the Heat. Those years, he won the championship, but was he really doing the heavy lifting? She was kind of like, she could pop in, 15 minutes a game. She'll fucking mom it up, and she put up good numbers too. I'm not saying she's a slouch. She's not putting up goose eggs. She's getting her buckets, but she's contributing towards the championship. She's elevating me to where I need to be as her son, but she's not doing what Gary Payton did in Seattle. You know what I mean? And he didn't even win those chips. She gave it her all, though, for those two first kids. She was willing to guard Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? But she lost those first two chips. She won with me. She gave it the Gary Payton try hard for about 15, 18 minutes a game. But I'm bringing that championship home for you, Mom. So I appreciate you, Gary Payton. I was raised by Gary Payton. That's honestly a really good analogy. If you followed all that, and you can Google Gary Payton if you don't know what I'm talking about. He's got one of the best smiles in the world. He smiles like Mr. Ed. Got the big old teeth. But either way, so my mom was she was cool about it. She wasn't like telling the girl like get the fuck out or whatever like that. But it was also like kind of assumed like, hey, lock it up. But the weirdest thing was the interaction I had to have with the girl afterwards. And because she's like immediately crying. She thinks that my mom thinks she's a whore, which, my mom's, again, not a moron. She knows you're a whore. And so she is crying in the thing, and I've got to convince her that she's not a whore. This is all fun. We're having a great time. We were just 17. You know what I mean? And we should, and I'm also a teenager, rock hard, and I'm like, we should probably, once you get these tears out, maybe kind of get back at it, finish this stuff off. You know how expensive these condoms were to buy? You know what I mean? So, but that was probably the weirdest interaction I had as a teenager, trying to deal with that. She ended up going to a different college than me, blowing a friend of mine later that summer. But, fun night. That was probably the weirdest thing. And then one time I remember hooking up with a chick that I had wanted to hook up with a long time, and it was like it was like one of those situations where, this person wants to bang you and you want to bang them, but it never like lined up. The nights never lined up. And the night it lined up, we were all hanging, and it went back to my buddy's house because that's what we were chilling with. But my buddy's house, for some reason, this like 3-day window in the year 2000, I don't know what it would have been, 10 or 11, his air conditioning was off in the middle of the summer in Phoenix, Arizona. Are you fucking kidding me? And me and this, we were going to, but it was like, dude, the cards are on the table. Are we doing this or not? And that was one of the worst hookups I've ever had. I don't think she ever texted me back. I wasn't performing at a high rate. Gary Payton, 06 Heat. You know what I'm saying? I had about 12 minutes in that one. And I was not filling up the stat sheet. There were some turnovers. And so it was so hot, though. It was fucking the middle of summer in Phoenix. I wasn't in the best shape of my life. I'd been drinking for the past 6 years in college. You kidding me? So, yeah, I didn't put it down for the city on that one. Regretted it. I've thought about it since. And one of the sweatiest messes I've ever seen. You ever try to fuck in a sauna? You kidding me? So those are a couple banging stories for you. I don't know if those are funny or weird. Next question's a good one. Is you a certified freak? Yes. I'll bang in the heat. I'll bang in the sheets. I'll bang any dang day of the week. No, yeah, I do. I've thought about this sometimes. Am I a freak? There are freakier people than me. But I think what my freak, I don't want to get too, hey, how's your family doing? I think my freak sneaks up on girls sometimes. I think I can kind of keep it pretty calm, and then you kind of crank it up when you need to. You know what I mean? I could do what needs to be done. I'm very good at reading the situation. Some women need to cross more lines than others, and everything is consensual. I know that the doll's looking at me weird now. She's getting a little timid as I explain my approach in the bedroom. But yeah, I'm a certified freak for sure. But also, like, I'm not the certified freakiest. I might have put my tongue on a toe or two, but I'm not out there, like, leading, like, first move, like, let me suck them toes, you know what I mean? I've put my tongue in an asshole. I'm not afraid of that. I did it before it was even in songs, even in hip hop stuff. You know what I mean? I was doing it. This is probably second term Bush. Doing that stuff. Get enough Jägermeister in you. But yeah, if it needs to happen, I'll read the situation. And I'm not above it. There's some stuff I won't do. And there is some stuff I will not do.
But there's a lot I'll try. So take that to the grave, huh? Next, good transition here. Next question is great thoughts on Canadian politics. Really zigging and zagging here. I have no thoughts on Canadian politics. I think of Canada so few and far between. I don't like that they don't let me in their country because I had a DUI in 2010. Fucking what? Fuck you, dude. You know how much Molson's I'll buy out there? Some fucking Labatt's Blue, dude. I'll help you guys fucking pay all your taxes for the next fucking decade. Missing out on me? I've never even gone to Canada since I went to Toronto one time when I was a teenager in fucking school. No, I know nothing about Canadian politics. I'm sure they're better than ours, and I like free healthcare. I'll stand by that. Your opinion on Threads' new app, and maybe also talk about the future of AI. Just some suggestions. Threads' new app seems like it'll probably not work long term. I don't understand why. Like, when you brought Instagram in, so Threads is Facebook's version of Twitter. When Instagram came about, it was different than Facebook, right? That's the thing. Threads is not even. I don't even know what the. If you line them both up, I don't know what's different. And then is Twitter that bad? I mean, yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad. Threads will be bad eventually too, in the way that you want to define being bad. I don't know, but I don't get it. I'm already on Twitter. I think Twitter's done a great job of keeping me up to speed on a lot of different information that I want on the Reds, sports, hip hop, and some porn stars that I respect and love. So yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it. My future thoughts of AI, future of AI thoughts. I would say go watch Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and that movie. There's some stuff in there that's kind of scary. I'm always kind of scared of AI, but also I'm like, I know that I can't do anything, and I just hope that there's an Ethan Hunt out there that can. You know what I mean? And I just pray that, like, I only got like 50 more years here to live, maybe. Like, and that's optimistic. Let's call it 50. I just hope it doesn't get too crazy before I call it. And I hope I get to see the crazy. I hope I see the crazy shit before the craziest shit happens. How about that? But I don't know what the fuck. AI is kind of scary. I hope it doesn't take my job. They can't be funnier than me, can they? Thoughts on not letting your girlfriend post bikini pics? I would let them post anything. I mean, honestly, I thought about this before. If I had a girl that was doing OnlyFans and shit, I don't know if I'd want them to be fucking other people, but like if they were like pleasuring themselves or even like doing like some of them are just doing like classy nude pics or like disrobing a lot. I know it's not all like banging on OnlyFans or something like that, but I don't know if I'd actually be able to deal with it, but I wouldn't tell them not to because I don't know. I don't ever want to tell them what they can and can't do because I'll tell you right now, I don't want somebody telling me what I can and can't do. So I don't think that's fair to do. So I'm kind of boundary-less. But I would also, there would come to a point where I could either deal with it or not. I'd like to think I could because I'm not, because I have, I'm not insecure about everything, but that'd be tough. I would never do what Jonah Hill did, though. That shit looked weird to me. I also would never do what that chick did, though. That chick was whack as fuck. I hope that people understand that when they are reading about that Jonah Hill thing. Like, sure, what we realized about Jonah Hill is Jonah Hill is kind of a corny dude. He's a dude that has probably not been, he's a wealthy, overweight kind of slob dude that probably gets chicks that he never got until like the last 10 years or whatever with his fame and shit like that. So that comes with a lot of insecurities, I'm sure. I'm sure there's chicks that have fucking cheated on him over the years, and that traumatizes him. He's a lame dude. He's a dude that clearly is fucking weird. Like, that's a weird route to that. His communication style is fucking unlike anything I've ever seen. I don't operate like that. He's a corny dude that probably didn't get any chicks in high school and into his 20s, and now he's dealing with a lot of chicks, and those people are fucking weird. Those are weird people. So he falls into that. So, but also, I hope you understand when you're reading all this shit, that chick is fucking lame as shit for airing him out. You were in a relationship with him. That's the relationship you guys had. That should be your relationship. You can talk to your close friends about what you did like or didn't like, but you chose to be in that relationship. You fucking tolerated it. You deleted some of the photos when he asked you to delete it. You did the things. Don't then on the back end flame him out because he told you clearly what he wanted you to do, and if you weren't willing to do it, you shouldn't be in a relationship with him. You chose to be in a relationship with him. That's the lamer. Jonah Hill is lame as fuck but we should have never known that about Jonah Hill. Let Jonah Hill just be Jonah Hill and have another relationship with somebody that is willing to operate within his boundaries. That chick's lame as fuck. The weakest thing he did was probably tell her that she can't post bikini pics, though. That's just weird. Her fucking job is surfing, and you knew that when you started hitting her up. Again, this goes back to Jonah Hill being a weirdo. But on the flip side of that, that chick is fucking whack as hell for airing him out, putting personal shit out about their relationship that she chose to be in, that fucking the whole time she was a part of. And then on the back end, when it didn't work out, you're fucking doing that. Fuck that shit. I didn't like that. But if you're dating me, fucking post away. You know what I'm saying? The last one is back in the day you used to write more. First of all, back in the day you used to wrote more jokes. Now you do another more crowd work, just an observat. So toughly written thing, but I think what he's saying is back in the day you used to write more jokes. Now you do more crowd work, just an observation. That's definitely an easy thing to observe if through the lens of watching me through Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff too, for sure. The other way to consider that too is that I am trying to elevate my visibility through Instagram and TikTok, and a lot of the most popular stuff that I've released is actually moments that are created through crowd work and through things like that. So I'm not naive to that. I've started filming a lot more of my things. I'm able to be very loose. I'm also uniquely skilled in being able to do crowd work in a way that, in my opinion, is different than others. I think that it's very there's a lot of people doing crowd work. I like to think that I do it in a way that I feel like is very not more unique than anybody, but like it's very me, and it's very fun to me to do it. It keeps it all super loose, but what you don't see is I don't release some of the jokes that I'm working on because I'll probably in the long term share them in different ways, whether it be like through a short special, like through a don't tell filmed proper type of thing, or through a longer filmed special or something like that, which would be the next goal to do. But yeah, it's a fair observation for sure. If you're looking at it through the lens of what I release online and shit like that, it does look like I'm only doing crowd work. But there are definitely jokes that I'm working through in and out of those. I just don't share those things as prevalently online because those are the actual things that I write, right? It's way easier to not burn material online by just releasing crowd work. So that's kind of an observation. That's a fair observation, and it makes sense that that's your observation. But what you don't see is the actual jokes that are being worked on because I don't share those all the time. So if you come see me live, you can see those. That's typically how that works. But yeah, that's kind of the name of the game these days too, which is interesting. If you follow a dude like Stavros is an amazing comedian. If you follow just Stavros, you would think that all he does is crowd work, right? He's only doing crowd work. He's not working on shit. But if you go see him live, you'd see, oh, there's an actual hour of material. And then within that, he's going to do like 15 minutes of crowd work because what he's doing is he's trying to create opportunities for him to share things online to be able to grow his visibility through these clips, which is kind of the name of the game these days. And I don't know if it's either good or bad, but it is what it is. I've leaned into it myself. I think it's very fun. I think it's a great way to show people my skill set on being funny in the moment. But yeah, it is kind of the name of the game and the way of comedy right now, whether you like it or not. And so a lot of people fucking hate it. But it is what it is. And so that's kind of how that, I can definitely see how it looks like that. But yeah, I still got really well written, fully formed dick jokes just for your convenience. So come see me live. But yeah, that's that for the week. I'm here in Austin, Texas for another couple days. I appreciate you guys fucking with me. Yeah, we will. I'll video this too, so we'll get it up on YouTube hopefully as soon as possible. If you're listening to this right now, I'll get it up as soon as we can upload it. I don't have all the best capabilities on Wi-Fi, but I should be able to get it up here soon, ish. And yeah, I appreciate you guys fucking with me. Love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Peace.